So when FDR comes into office in March of 1933, he's got to deal with a banking system that is in shambles. People are taking out their savings because they don't trust the banks. A third of the banks have shut their doors, have collapsed. So what FDR first has to do is to prop up the banks. The next thing he's got to do is prop up the agricultural economy, because agriculture is where the vast majority of unemployment is. Once FDR gets the banking system set up, he deals with the two fundamental sectors of the American economy, business and agriculture. And agriculture is dealt with the Agricultural Adjustment Act, because it's the issues of overproduction and underconsumption. So FDR says to the farmers, listen, we got to control overproduction, which means that you can't use all of your land. But the government wants to help you and not penalize you for doing this. So if you take 10% of your land out of cultivation, if you leave it fallow, then the government will pay you 10% of what you made last year to help make up for that loss. That means that you're dealing with overproduction, the prices will come back up, and in theory, people will have the money to buy the crops, which will give the farmers the money that they need to pay off the debts, which will help the farmers and help the banks. So once FDR deals with the farm economy, he's got to deal with big business and small business. The legislation is the National Industrial Recovery Act, the NIRA. It sets up the NRA, the National Recovery Administration. Now, instead of saying, okay, take 10% of your business aside and we'll pay you, they set up a gazillion codes, price codes and wage codes. And if you adhered to it, you got this great blue eagle that you put in your window as this great government seal that says, we do our part. You know, and what are you doing? What is your part? By 1935, the economy is back to where it was in 1929. It's back to where it was when the stock market crashed. But the stock market is not the beginning of the Great Depression. It's when the Great Depression hit the middle class. And so what FDR realizes in 1935 is that he has to take additional steps to deal with these crises. Because the big overarching programs, the Agricultural Adjustment Act, the National Recovery Administration, are not dealing with the problems in as comprehensive and widespread way as FDR wants. So how does FDR navigate this? Well, he's got a great Democratic majority in 1934 because the Democrats really come back and take over Congress. So he's got to capitalize on this goodwill. He's got to address his critics, and he's got to address the American people to get them involved. This is when you get Social Security. This is when you get the Wagner Act, or the right to join a labor union. This is when you set up the WPA.